Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Missed getting outside today, busy day, and it was overcast, a little bit of rain. Today's topic is going to be your brain believes you. So let's take a couple of nice breaths. Breathe in the peace, exhale the noise. Breathe in the clarity. Exhale the doubt and uncertainty. Breathe in the simplicity of this approach. And exhale the complexity. This process is fairly simple, but we can overcomplicate it. So I really want to make sure we focus on that. So, your brain believes you. So it's up to us to give our brain better instructions and make what we want familiar, right? The brain, I've said this before, the brain believes what we think and say most often. And so if we think and say most often things that don't support us, that are, this TMS stuff is really hard, it's challenging, I can't do this, it's not working for me, your brain will believe you. It's listening. And so it's up to us. We get to choose what we want our brain to listen to and believe. So if your dominant thought is, I can't, I won't, this isn't working, your brain will believe you. If your dominant thought is, this is hard, this is complicated, your brain will believe you. And if you use words to describe your symptoms that are very rich in adjectives and descriptives that come out of a horror movie, your brain will believe you. And if you do that, it's less likely that your brain is going to lower the vigilance and sensitivities. So as much as possible, make what you want familiar, give your brain better instructions, and speak about the TMS in ways that are supportive, that calm your fears, that increase your feeling of safety. This is the way that we teach the brain that we're actually okay, that we're not in danger, we're not in peril. But if you describe your symptoms and talk about them all day to everybody who will listen in ways that talk about how excruciating and painful and difficult and disabling and, 85 different adjectives later, your brain will believe you. And so why not utilize this miracle of a brain that we've got to give your brain better instructions? And instead of having your brain looking at all of the negatives that we've been saying for a lot of years, instead of having your brain look at that as familiar, why not change the dominant script and make what we want to believe familiar? Better instructions, better data, accurate knowledge. These are the tools that can work to teach our brain to not be so vigilant and have it start to settle down. So it's really not that complex. If you're not sure what you want your brain to believe, and you're really stuck on a lot of the negatives, ask yourself, what would the opposite of my negative be? This is so hard. The opposite. This is actually pretty simple, pretty easy. Right? I can't do this. Instead, ask yourself, how can I? I can. I can do this. I can figure it out. I'm a smart cookie. I can do this. I can figure it out. See how the opposites work? So if you're stuck in really a lot of negative thinking, flip it upside down. What's the opposite? Again, even the reframing that I'm suggesting to you here doesn't have to be complicated or difficult. If I'm constantly believing and expecting the worst, flip it upside down. What's the opposite of that? expecting the best. If you're worried about how tomorrow's going to go, expect the best. Say, tomorrow's going to go great. You do this consistently, and that's the key phrase. Consistently, confidently, with clarity and calm, the brain will believe you. It always does. It believes the things we think and say most often. It's up to you and I to think about what we want our life to be, our beliefs to be, our thoughts to be. And the brain will believe it. And when the brain believes it and believes you, you're way more likely to get what you want when you start to make what you want your dominant thought. So don't overcomplicate this. Don't overanalyze it. This really isn't rocket science. So I'm going to leave it at that. Your brain believes you. And it's your brain. So you get to tell it what you want it to believe. If you're telling it things that don't support you, that hold you back, that keep you stuck, hate to say it, but that's on you. It's time to change the script. Your brain believes you. Give it better instructions and make what you want, what's familiar. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Love you guys and gals. And as always, I will see you tomorrow.